the biggest project in many respects that's been underway in the Indo-Pacific for the last few decades is the building of a more intricate, important relationship between the United States and India. I would posit to you both that probably the most important relationship for the United States going into the 21st century in technology and education and military cooperation, diaspora, is the relationship between the United States and India. And painstakingly, a series of Republican and Democratic governments and presidents in the United States have built that relationship. And I would say just in the last few months, last few weeks and hours, much of that is now at risk. The way that the president and his most senior team have spoken about Prime Minister Modi and India puts the Indian government in a very difficult set of circumstances. And this is something I'd have you both to focus on. Martin, it is the case, and Sherry, that the president is deeply attuned to his own domestic politics, but not as attuned to the politics of other countries, particularly allies and friends. And so he's put Prime Minister Modi in a terrible set of circumstances, putting so much pressure on him. And frankly, Modi does not have the ability and should not bend the knee. And the irony and the surprise here, if you look at the one leader on the global stage who managed effectively relations with President Obama, President Biden, and President Trump in the first term, it was Prime Minister Modi. So everyone expected that this would be a relationship that would get off to a flying start. And Indian interlocutors were quite confident that they could manage Trump. And we've been hearing on literally a daily basis for months that a big deal is right around the corner. And so by telling the Indians, hey, you're going to have to end your relationship with Russia, if you're an Indian strategist, your view and your actions are frankly to do the opposite. Now, the hope is that over time that we'll find a way forward for our two countries to basically mend fences and rebuild trust and confidence. But we cannot underestimate how much damage has been done. If I had to say the one thing that I'm most concerned by in the last several months, it is the rapid, sudden, unexpected decline in U.S. India relations.
Yeah, and it's ironic too, right? I mean, it unwinds probably decades, 25, 30 years of relationship building, and we just had during the Biden administration almost a surge, right, in relationship building. Things happened during that period, which would have been unthinkable just 10 years ago, including supplying pretty key military technology to India.
Yeah.
Kurt, I got to ask you, India and also Prime Minister Modi, no surprise if they're both incensed right now. I have to ask you, your training is as a Sovietologist, if I remember correctly, right? Vladimir Putin is probably licking his lips right now going, this is great, and this would be a great time to sort of, if the U.S. is trying to peel India away from Russia, well, I'm going to try and peel India away from the U.S. now.
Look, the truth is you see a series of stories on a daily basis. The FT, Ed Luce, had a great piece yesterday in which he went down the list of all the things that the United States is doing that, frankly, are almost to the benefit of both Russia and China. I do not believe alienating allies and partners along the lines, Martin, of what you described earlier is in the best strategic interest of the United States. Building allied scale, trying to bring other countries into our technology framework, sharing our educational benefits with allies and partners, that's been the great advantage of American power for decades. Shutting those off, restricting them, alienating these countries, speaking poorly about them publicly, I do not believe in the end this will benefit the United States in our global positioning.
Can you just give us a little bit of a preview on what's happening next Monday here? Vietnam's top leader going to South Korea holding a summit. It's actually the very first summit in South Korea for this new president, Lee Jae-myung, as well. I just cannot help but wonder, because sure, South Korea got that 15%, relatively speaking to some of the other ally countries like Japan. It is a feel-good number, but this president in South Korea is known to be leaning a little closer to China rather than the U.S. How do you think this meeting sort of sets the tone for some of these countries who might have been, I don't know, have their feelings hurt because of the whole tariff situation?
Sure, it's a great question. And let me just say this, what I think you can expect going forward. The truth is, Vietnam and the ROK are relatively like-minded. They believe in the open system. They want to work together on technology. They both probably quietly have some deeper anxieties about China. But what's going to start happening, I think, among many of these countries, India, Australia, Japan, ROK, others in Southeast Asia, they're going to be looking for alternatives. They're going to be looking to diversify their ties and build stronger engagement with countries other than the United States, to seek to balance the anxiety of being somewhat alienated or distanced from Washington. So what does that mean? You're going to see more engagement with Indo-Pacific countries, with Europe. You're going to see more diplomacy and trade agreements within the Indo-Pacific. I will say South Korea, the ROK, is already one of the largest investors in Vietnam, but you're going to see more ties developing accordingly. If anything, interregional diplomacy is going to explode, because in times of uncertainty, people want more options. That's going to play out in front of our eyes.